11 weeks on Friday. So I've still not done anything with my torn arm yet, but it does feel good. Hopefully it continues to feel good. I don't want to rupture it a third time because I think that will be me done then. Obviously there was some complications with the last surgery for whatever reason, and this one now, even though obviously I can't quite get my arm back straight and there is still a lot of tension in that part of where my distal bicep's been reconnected, it does feel stronger. Like when I'm doing the ISO holds that I do, and when I've started some active range stuff this week, like supination, pronation. I'm going to do some bicep curls tomorrow with my physio, like 2 kilos or something. But yeah, although the weights aren't as big as they were at this point last time, the actual injury and the structure of, I guess the structural integrity of it feels stronger in a weird way. It's weaker, but it feels stronger.
Yeah.
It's probably more down to the overall health of just the thing. It's probably just, you know, it feels better because it is better.
Your mindset then has strengthened a lot more since this second.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of reinforced the original reasons that I got into doing this. Do you know what I mean? Not to go on a rant like, oh, social media rant, but we do live in a day and age where everything's like just Hollywooded up and kind of everything's made to be more than what it is. And I think the problem is that, you know, if you're using that to, I say, you know, maybe make more money and you're okay with that, like that's cool. But like, I think the problem is that I was probably exposing myself to stuff where I was over dramatizing stuff for more hype, for more validation. And I think the problem is that I actually got lost in that. You know, I was no longer, you know, don't get me wrong, I was always me, but I was me and I was lost. I've got to do this to get it up that person that said I couldn't do it. I've got to do this because, you know, that person said something that damaged my self-perceived image of myself and my ego, you know, that offended me. They don't respect me. It was all like this big respect thing. Whereas now, I am who I am. I'm going to be as good as I'm going to be. I'm not going to say no one's going to stop me from doing X, Y, Z in terms of titles, but no one's going to stop me from being my best, and I'll always believe that my best can be the best. So, yeah, I think it's kind of just recalibrated. I do it because it makes me feel important to myself. It makes me feel like more than myself, but not more than myself in a way where it's like, you know, people think more of me for it, you know. It makes me feel good, it makes me feel strong, it makes me feel powerful, it makes me feel unique.
What kind of training are you doing now then?
So, yeah, like I say, the majority of my effort is in recovery really. I'm doing, because I'm 11 weeks post-op and I wasn't really supposed to be cleared until week 12 to start active range with this, but even active range with this isn't going to be like, you know, bilateral movements like benching and log pressing and stuff, because obviously this is lagging majorly to this side, so I need to focus on bringing up obviously the damaged area in my bicep to a level where it's then safe to start going about the you know, the log pressing and the deadlifts and stuff like that. So at the minute, I'm keeping my right side ticking over, strength-wise, and so I'm training my right side, again, because I love training, I love being in the gym, and it's a good way to give my life some structure and give it a bit of meaning where, you know, I'm not just sitting at home because what's the point in going in and just training my right side, no. And then apart from that, I'm doing lower body rehab, which to be honest was kind of stagnant for a long time, but that's really starting to pick up now as well. I'm seeing my physio twice a week. I bought some new bits of recovery equipment like a Compex that's really helping out, and I think that we've really pinpointed what I need to do to get my knee back to 100%, not just get by and train and it hurt, like get it back to where, you know, I can be back squatting 400 kilos and stuff again. But yeah, so I'm just on a 3-day split. I walk, I do upper body, I do lower body, I walk, I do upper body, lower body. But like I say, I'm doing it, but most of the focus is in my recovery at the minute, but I'm putting in a lot of hours recovery-wise. I'm putting in like probably 3-4 hours a day recovery-wise, 4 hours when I'm doing physio. Yeah, so when I tore my bicep for the first time at World's Strongest Man, I was weighing about 151 kilos on a morning. But in fairness, that was probably the leanest I've ever been. I had like leg veins and that. But at the minute now, about 144 kilos. So it's like a 7 kilo drop. Quick maths. So a 7 kilo drop. Obviously, I've probably lost a bit of body fat with the body weight, but the majority of the body weight loss has probably been through just atrophy of muscles. You know, my left leg has shrunk a lot because of my knee injury, and my left bicep is non-existent. And then obviously my left back, my left pec, my shoulder, all that, like, it's just atrophied from disuse, but you know, it's going to be atrophied because I obviously can't train it. So even now I've started some more semi-regular training again, rehab-wise with this, where I'm starting to load it up a bit more on my right side. I was 135 kilos at Europe's Strongest Man in April, like when I went to watch. So I'm 9 kilos up on that. You know, I've got a dietitian now who's doing all of my food stuff and making sure that, like I say, I'm just trying to cover every base when it comes to recovery. If my food's good, my recovery will be good. If my supplements are good, my recovery will be good. And if I'm going and doing all these extracurricular activities like hyperbaric chambers and physio and hot cold and like that every day, it's just about giving myself the best chance. When I got injured the second time, I just stopped eating. I wasn't eating, fasted. I'd fast because I was just in that place of self-loathing and I was miserable. And I know that I was miserable because I was making myself miserable. But you know, sometimes when you're just miserable, you're just like, I just want to be miserable. Like you just want to kind of be in your own misery. It was like one of them, so it's like, I wasn't eating. You know, if I was fasting, I wasn't fasting for a purpose. I was fasting because I was so just down and lost that I just couldn't be arsed cooking a meal that takes 10 minutes, you know. I guess eventually you have to break out of that and stop feeling sorry for yourself and just get on with it.
Has that happened over the space of the last few weeks, like you've kind of found the routine?
Yeah, I think that like anything in life, you know, I think momentum is huge, positive and negative. The more negative I am, the more negative I become. The more positive I am, the more positive I become, in the way that you're making a positive change to get towards where you want to be again. So it's like, even just hiring the dietitian, the nutritionist, it was like, right, well, there's a bit more structure in my life that I didn't have before. But then off that structure, you can build another structure, and then you build another structure, and before you know it, you're back walking again, and then before you know it again, you're back sprinting. So it's like, say, you need to take that initial leap, and like, I know it's really cliche, and I hate saying stuff like this, but the first step's always the hardest. Like, momentum's huge, so if you can do one thing to kind of change the tide of momentum, from being negative or sedentary to being on the up curve, then the chances are is that picks up speed. And when it does pick up speed, usually it picks it up quite quick. Like I say, it's hard because last time when I just started back training for Europe's Strongest Man, I hadn't learned my lesson yet, and not that I was acting like a dick. Like, not like I was being a dick, but I started acting like a again. Like, I started growing in stature again because I was getting my physical strength back, you know, and it was like, right, well, now I'm getting my physical strength back, now I need to start plotting who I'm going to kill, basically. They're getting it, they're getting it, they're getting it. Whereas I've had to learn to be strong when I haven't got that. You know, I haven't felt very strong when I've not been able to take my arm out of a sling for 6 weeks or be able to walk down a flight of stairs. So it's obviously hard to be confident in your physical ability. But like I say, this confidence for me now isn't tied into my physical ability. I feel like I have confidence now in the fact that I fucking know who I am and I know what I'm about.